Hello everyone, welcome to today's discussion on what are the 5 mistakes to avoid in UPSC CSE personality test. The last stage of the UPSC CSE cycle means the personality test, also known as the interview stage, has commenced. We bring to you a special interview on the UPSC Civil Services Examination Personality Test stage. We discuss 5 mistakes in the personality test and the frequently asked questions that trouble the candidates appearing for the interview. Firstly, over focus on walking style, sitting style, and how much to smile. Second is answering more than required and missing the keywords. Thirdly, speaking too loud and too fast. And next is too many breaks in the answers. Next is getting influenced by the social media image of certain panel members. So now let us start. Number 1, over focus on walking style, sitting style, and how much to smile. While it is important to maintain a good posture while walking and sitting, and it is important to maintain a decent face, over focusing on the aspects in the interview hall might impact the quality of the answers a candidate might give to the board. Think of your mind like a computer processor. A computer processor can process only a limited number of operations at any given point in time. Running too many operations in parallel might impact the speed of the computer. The same is the case with the human mind. While you are required to be at your best in every aspect, it is the equality of your answers. It is the quality of your answers and way of answering that will trump everything else. Hence, in order of preference, focus the most on the depth and the width of your answers and then on anything else. Second is answering more than required and missing the keywords. One common mistake that I have observed over the years is the over excitement of the candidates. As soon as they realize they know about the topic being asked, whenever a candidate is asked a question, the first task of the candidate is not to answer the question but to take a moment and process all the important keywords and fit the answer within those keywords. Now let us consider an example in this context. Interview panel member, what is your stance on the current problems in the neighborhood of India? I will present two answers to you and you will be able to understand the difference between the approach. Answer: candidate holding back and analyzing the keywords. India currently is in a troubled neighborhood wherein there has been a security problem arising from Pakistan and Afghanistan, a migrant crisis from Myanmar, an undemocratic regime, and instability in Bangladesh. Answer 2. Like an excited candidate, India follows the policy of neighborhood first, wherein we focus on our neighbors because we can change our friends but not our neighbors. Apart from this, India is also following the Act East policy, Indo-Pacific policy, and the Sagar policy to enhance its ties with the countries in the extended neighborhood. The difference between the first and the second approach is that in the first approach, the candidate kept the answer to the point and well within the keywords mentioned in the question. Such an approach has two benefits. Firstly, it shows that the candidate has an adequate understanding of the question being asked and the candidate understands the requirement of the questions. Secondly, such an approach reduces the scope of counter questioning from unpredictable areas. In the second approach, the candidate is giving an opportunity to the panel members to increase the scope of counter questions by mentioning the keywords that were not required in the answer. Hence, it is always better to understand every keyword of the question and then frame the answer within those boundaries. Next is speaking too loud and too fast. Why it is important to the confident during the interview? Many candidates have a misconception that speaking loud and fast is a sign of confidence. During the interview, a candidate should always remember two things. First is speaking too loud might appear as a noise rather than a sign of confidence. Human psychology tells whatever is spoken in a mid-pitch creates the maximum impact on the listener. Second is speaking too fast may lead to the panel skipping some of the important points spoken by the candidate and making them disinterested in your answers. It is rightly said, confidence is silent, but insecurities are loud. It is always better and advisable to keep the tone and pitch at the medium level. Next is too many breaks in the answers. A common problem that I encounter during the mock interviews is the break in answers. Let me share an example. Interview panel member, what is your opinion about the ongoing rupee depreciation and how it can be controlled? Candidates, the outflow of the US dollar from the Indian stock market is leading to the weakness of the rupee. Long break, the falling merchandise exports are also contributing towards the weakening rupee. RBI is tasked with the job of managing the rupee and foreign exchange. Based on the above answer given by the candidate, let us understand a few aspects. Firstly, the above answer clearly shows that the candidate was in a rush to answer the question without giving it a due and true thought. It is always advisable to pause for 3 to 4 seconds after the question has been asked to you so that you can gather all your thoughts. Frame them in the sync and then present the answer uniformly. Second is this repeated breaks and sound like might break the interest and flow of the thoughts of the panel, making them less interested in your answers. Third is this, remember Even if you are speaking less, it is important to speak clearly to the extent that the other person feels connected to your communication style. Next is getting influenced by the social media image of certain panel members. Very often, candidates appearing for the interview get an access about facing the panel of a particular UPSC member known to have a strict public image. Such constant and excess thoughts impact the performance of the candidates on day to day. If they happen to get the panel of the said UPSC member to deal with these certain points are to be kept in mind. Your core focus should be on the question and not on the panel member. You are there to answer the questions asked by the panel and present your views effectively. The presence of a specific person should not impact your views. The purpose of the panel is to select the most capable candidates, even if a specific panel member has a certain demeanor. It should not intimidate you. Such situations are a test of your character in pressure situations. The calmer you are, the better your score will be. It is always better to, it is always better to be mentally prepared for the unexpected elements. You cannot get a perfect panel by all means and measures. There will be elements that will be beyond your comfort zone. It is always better to be prepared for the elements of uncertainty rather than getting negatively impacted by them. One of the techniques that you can adopt to overcome the fear, which fear is visualization. Whenever you feel anxious about appearing in front of the panel of a specific UPSC member, mentally visualize yourself succeeding in the interview and giving the answer to perfection. Such a visualization might give you a confidence spike needed to overcome the pressure situation. I hope you have understood these 5 mistakes and will avoid making these mistakes. All the best for your interview.